I was just saying, so I'm going to say his name. Is that why?
Okay, we're rolling.
Hey everyone, we're back with another episode of Shtajio's Vlog, episode 33. So, Steven's going to join us for this one.
Hey.
How you doing,
Hi,
Steven?
guys.
All right, so, I'm Henry Thurlow.
My name is Arthell Isom.
And I'm Stephen Murphy.
All right, so, Arthell, our topic this week is yet another person who commented, right? A fan comment on one of our videos.
We had a pretty cool comment.
If you comment, we really will read it, and possibly it'll be a topic.
Yes, so definitely please comment with questions that you have or anything. And actually, yeah, and the great thing is that this viewer's comment got quite a few likes, so maybe that'll be another way for us to tell which comment we should kind of choose, you know, so the ones that get lots of likes on them. But yeah, so this is from Matthew Russo, so at Matthew Russo, and his question is, any advice to keep your motivation to practice? I thought that's a pretty good topic.
How do you keep motivation? That's the question.
Yeah, how do you stay motivated? Right?
Man,
how do you
this
stay motivated?
is tough. This is a tough, because sometimes I don't feel motivated. Actually, recently I've been going through a feeling of exhaustion, just like working so much, and then I feel like I worked on a ton of things, and then they all finished. There was like a brief moment of kind of rest, and then we're starting up again. And even though the things in front of me, the sequences that I get to animate, the series I get to work on right in front of me are really interesting. They're exactly what I want, actually. I still just, I'm not super motivated. Like, I don't know. It's tough. What are you two talking about? What are you two talking about?
None of your business.
So yeah, no, like, it's tough. But if it's a job, you just have to. At the end of the day, I guess I'll say what I've probably said in a few other vlogs, which is just like, you have to will it from within yourself. Like, if you don't, if you can't just light the fire whenever you have to, then this is probably not the career for you, right? It's probably a hobby. It's something where, you know, whenever you feel motivated, you can do it. But when you're not feeling motivated, you can't get yourself motivated.
Yeah, that's a pretty good. Just kind of jump in here because I think that's actually very interesting. What you just said just now. I mean, not that what you said before wasn't interesting. Actually, that is not interesting. If you're not motivated to work, I'm like, you're fired. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, no. But the point is really quick. Like, even when I'm not, though, the thing still needs to get handed in, right?
Yeah,
so, because you know, some fans I think are out there looking at us and thinking like, oh, they're beyond human, right? Like, they are motivated all the time and they're doing it so right. Why can't I do that? Like, we're just people too, right? And there are days that I come in not motivated. But the difference is, even when that is the case, you still got to make your deadline. You still got to do it.
Well, yeah. So what I was gonna say is that that I feel people throw the word motivation around, like, as if that's the solve all, the end all, be all, like the hey, like motivation, like you need motivation, but I feel that, so perhaps there's two types of motivation, because I feel like they're thinking about it the wrong way. Like, yeah, you have obviously self motivation, and then like outward motivation, right, or motivation that you get from outside forces or whatnot. And I think that, like, you know, self motivation is really the most important part of motivation. You know, like you have, which is really just you, which really isn't even like self-motivation is just will, right? Like, I feel like it shouldn't be called motivation. It should just be called you doing something. You know, like your energy, your own energy that you use, that you're manifesting to actually start a process and to continue with it. Whereas, like, I feel like the definition, or like that word motivation is like here's this, I saw something, it made me want to do something, right? Which is different than I have to make myself do something, you know, like the will to do something. And I think that it's best to kind of separate those two things, because I think that both of them are important, you know. So whereas like sometimes, like, yeah, like how Henry was just saying that he has the work they're working on right now, which we can't say yet, but that's something that Henry and some of the other team members have always wanted to work on. So they're excited to go to the meeting and everything. So that's external. That's the external thing, the external object where it's like, here's this energy, and it's like, oh look here, this is something I really want to work on. But then you still have to have that will to even do it, right? Like, and it's like, because you would think that, oh, like instantly just because I have this is going to make me want to do it, but when realistically we don't really work like that. But external. But it's not to say that external motivation is not important though, because it is. Because that is also a type of energy. Like if you go to the gym and you got to work out by yourself, sometimes it's difficult. But if there's other people working out, and they're like, "Come on, man, do it." That's gonna make you want to work out, right? And so with work, it's similar. Whereas everyone else around you, and like you said, like the schedule, the deadlines, like pay or whatever, like those are the external motivating forces that'll kind of help you to know that you have to do what you got to do.
That's actually I'm going to kick it over to you in a second, but just to go for that, it's interesting because I recently bought a was it Microsoft Surface Book 3, right? Yeah. And I'm looking forward to jumping in and working with that. But that is kind of private stuff. Like I have different stories and ideas and things I want to animate kind of privately that like I want to go home and just make with that. Yeah. And that one so far I haven't been able to self-motivate enough, right? Like I go home and I'm like tired after work and I'm like there's no external kind of motivating force that's forcing me to do it, like a deadline. So like even like when I come in here, even if I'm tired in the morning, I'm like, well, the deadline's still tomorrow, so it'll take me that many hours to do that sequence. Like got to get it done. Drawing, next drawing. It doesn't matter how I feel from within necessarily, like things are forcing me to do this, right? Which is good, actually, which in this case, it's really good, right? But when I go home, suddenly that disappears. And if I'm tired, the self-motivation does not necessarily come naturally, right? Yeah. And so even I'm trying to find that. Like, how do I go home and then I just get that fire lit, in me to self-motivate to do other things? What do you think?
It's interesting. I was going to say one answer, but then I realized how I am, it would probably go down a weird tangential path.
It's going to do that anyway.
No,
like have fun. Have fun.
Where's the answer?
But that's why we invite you on here.
I've developed, I would have been insulted by that, but now I've developed insight, but I would say what motivates me is like what's around the corner, and that's what I love about working here is that like there's a big project, we work on that, then we work on a couple of interesting projects or smaller projects, and then the next project's bigger. And then, some smaller things, some side things here. And then the next one's even bigger. And so just that alone, working at Dare, I just want to see what's next.
Future possibilities
is what keeps you
motivated. I think that's actually a good point because I feel like I'm kind of, like part of that also motivates me too. Like I'm always, which I kind of talk about that, right? Sometimes you guys ask me, what's the best thing that you like? Like I never really live in the past or even in the present of what I'm doing, right? Like I am here, I'm obviously, sound of mind. Like I'm drawing what I'm drawing. But then once it's finished, like I am always thinking about, okay, what's next, right? And then like the next, like the energy to go out and get the next job or like to have that next meeting, and then what will be the next big thing, like because. And so, I think and I think that's, I guess that would count as external motivation, external motivated force, where it's like
the internal would be like sort of like there's a little bit of fear to it, and like how do I overcome this new challenge? And
overcoming, like just kind of like because I guess internal motivation would be like knowing that you need to do something, right? You knowing that you need to do something, and then knowing what's required to do it. And then telling yourself that because I have to do it, I need to get this done. Which doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be, because payment and stuff is external. So it's like, well, what do you mean? What is that? I have to do it. Well, that's because you need to separate external from internal.
Right.
So internal motivation have to do means that you personally want something. Yeah. So okay, if we imagine the future, like this is what I want for this company, or this is like this next big project I want to succeed, then that's still a personal want, right? That's a want that you have, which means that now internally you also tell yourself that the only way I'm going to get to that want is by me doing these things.
That is the hard one, and that's probably the one that most people are asking us about. I'm sure some professional animators watch us, right? But for the most part, I think a lot of the people commenting are probably people that want to get into the industry, right? Or are hoping to one day. Meaning that their day job isn't working on anime and working on animation, right? It's doing something else, and then while they're working on that, they listen to this vlog, right? And then they go home, and it's like, okay, now everything... The motivation they're talking about is how do I get motivated to work hard for a future possibility of working on anime like we do. And that's hard, because, externally, those external motivations are really like the hold your feet to the fire kind of thing. And it's like, now you got to do it. The internal motivation is really... It's an individual thing. I don't know how you excite yourself. It has to really...
Yeah.
And I wonder if they confuse the external with the internal. I'm a fan of something, therefore that will give me the fuel to make it.
Yeah. That's a good point too.
Also, just
like that's a good point too, because so if you do confuse the two things, right? Like, okay, like you said, I'm a fan of something, or this thing makes me like drawing, or this thing makes me want to do something more, but then you don't have that thing, right? Or something, or you can't watch it or something. It kind of some people would then like, oh man, I need this, right? But and then if it's not there, but I do like kind of, I'm gonna kind of go back onto what Henry said, and probably then try to get back to what you said just now, but I do feel like maybe Henry's right, because that. Yeah, so I think what people are asking is for that motivation. How do you stimulate your own self to be motivated? And I almost feel like that is one of the answers. That if you think about what you want in the future, like that's a really strong motivation, because you're comparing it to based off of where you are at the moment. And so like if you compare it to where you are at the moment, you're like, this is what I don't want for myself, right? Because that is the motivation that we always have. If you're gonna work out, look at your skinny body or whatever, your overweight body, whatever, right? And then like you think that in
get ready for the comments.
No. You look at you
skinny shaming and fat shaming in one.
But like, and then you want to work out. You think about your future self, right? Like and so then that's what motivates you to go to the gym all the time. Or if you want to if you're not a good artist, right? And you want to become really good, you want to become a good character draftsman or something. You think about ideally what you want to be able to draw, and I think if you internalize that, this is where I want to be. It's the same thing if you want to move or something, right? You need money, or why do you go out and get a job? It's because you want to save, you want to get money so you can save it for something. I think it's the future possibility. Is what helps with your internal.
Let me. I don't want
to. Please.
No, go. You got.
No, I was listening to what he was saying, and then you rudely interrupted him. No. No.
Cut me off.
No. I think whenever we do these vlogs, it always kind of comes down to that common denominator of what for a lot of these people that want to make it, always having that. But it comes down to wanting to make it in this industry and having the wherewithal to get there. And I think that's the main topic ultimately at the end of the day, no matter what the vlog topics are, is how can I make it in this industry that is so competitive, and so saturated, and the salary's not always there, and it's, I think for me anyways, it's knowing what's next around the corner, and also getting right the external and the internal. Don't confuse the two.
It's really hard. I can't jump into anyone's mind and say any set of words that can get them motivated. At the end of the day, it really is it really is a mindset, because and you do need to constantly be looking towards the future. There are people that I think. I like video games as much as the next person. If you're following my social media things, I'm playing Dragon Quest XI now. So I love my long RPGs and everything like that, right? But at the end of the day, once that one's done, or even while I'm working on that, certain days will be dedicated to something else, right? Because me just having a good single day, like, oh, today was fun. I went to work, I did the stuff that I wanted to do, and then I went home and then I enjoyed my free time.
Yeah.
That there's something lacking when I'm going to sleep. I still feel like I didn't do enough. I had fun today playing that video game for a few hours. Maybe that's okay just for today, but to be honest, I'm a little bit disappointed in myself in the sense that I didn't move my life forward, right?
Yeah.
And so part of it is almost like negativity, like self doubt and self frustration with you with your. Some people say like don't be so hard on yourself, like things like I think, but being hard on yourself is the motivation, to be honest, to a lot of people. So one. I always hesitate to mention this one, but like I made a short film, Judgment and Justice. It's rated like X, so
it's like the final letter in the alphabet.
Yeah. So it's super ultra violent and nasty and nudity and stuff. So, but if you're into that, go ahead and search for it. But I slowly made that over the course of like 10 years. I graduated college and I was still feeling like I wasn't satisfied with my thesis film, so I wanted to still make another short film, right? And so it was now that one. That needed to be made with self-motivation, right? It was no external things. No one was paying me. There was no deadline, right? And there were times where I was also unmotivated for that one, right? Like I would go 6 months and realize I didn't really work on any sequences from it. But I would always come back to it and get fired up and re-motivated when I thought about the future of how I'd feel completing my short film, making sure that it wasn't just an art project that I started but then never finished, that I could say I finished it, right? And I did it, I made my short film. Just that alone, that future of me being able to say confidently I finished the project was enough to occasionally reinvigorate me, right? And so but it came from within. Like if there was someone else, Henry, give me advice. How can I motivate myself like you motivated yourself every few months to go back and work on that? I can't. It was something where I woke up in the middle of the night and said like I didn't work on that for the last couple months. Unacceptable. Like I need to do that, right? There's something within me forcing me to back to it, right? And so that's
Was it Robert E. Howard, the guy who created Conan? He would envision that Conan was standing behind him, and if he didn't like finish these last 5 panels, like Conan was just gonna like slice him in two or something like that. I saw that in some documentary. So that was like his like internal neurosis to finish the work and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty good point to end on maybe. So with the motivation, you have to first discover how can you push yourself, because self-motivation is always the most important part of motivation, right? That willpower. I say not motivation, let's say willpower, right? Like you, your internal force to drive yourself forward. And then motivation, external motivation.
If you can force external motivation, like taking on a job or something like that, that's a good thing. It is the moment of truth, holding your feet to the fire, so it's a challenge. You have to be prepared for that challenge. But if you can somehow figure out how to force external motivation,
somehow
that could also be
because external motivation, like forced external motivation, would be like, so if you're in a college or in an artist community or something, or joining an art, you don't have to join college, but if you're already in one, because even within the college, you still need external motivation. So it would be joining workshops. It would be going out and drawing with artists, like so stuff that has nothing to do with your homework, right? So you forcing external motivation would be finding those communities or our communities to draw and to make you draw.
And my last thing is just let go of certain entitlements. I hear a lot of people like, oh, why can't this happen for me? Or why can't I do this? It's not fair that this person got this or that. Or you're over there doing that. I can't do that because I got to pay bills or something like that. I would let go of certain,
excuses.
Let go of the entitlements.
I would have done that, but see, I couldn't because I had. Well, then you didn't do it. Okay,
so we'll talk about the excuses next time.
Oh,
I like that topic.
That could be a future topic. Excuses.
All right, but thank you, Matthew Renaud, and we really appreciate the topic this time. So Shtajio.
See you guys next time.
Peace.